See how much worse it could get.
That's why I'm going on air, so we can see how much worse it gets. I don't want that shit off air. Okay. Talk over the intro music. I was thinking about doing an intro video. Just 3 minutes of cut scenes of, like, you know, just things from stupid shit we say. With the music going in the background. Over. Here we come. And welcome to Talk of the Tavern, May 27th, 2019. My favorite year this year so far. Now, I just want to open up before I go into introductions with something for you to think about while we're going through introductions and what's going on in the past weeks. The question of the... Are you really... Are you fanning your fucking mic, Elizabeth, right now? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Yes.
Look at my face.
You've got a fan from the other side of your head, so your head blocks the mic. Come at yourself from behind, like I do before I get beat up. So the question of the day is, don't you hate it when you feel like your ass sneezed? Anyhow, moving on with the introductions, don't you hate it when you feel like your ass sneezed? Anyhow, I am Travis. I am the host. Welcome to Talk of the Tavern. My vices tonight, I am going to be having an awesome pipe, probably of Dunhill 965, and some, what is this, Henry Clavel? No, Henry McKenna bourbon. Henry Clavel, that's one that played Superman, right? Cavill.
Man of Steel.
The Barber of Cavill. I remember that. Let's introduce some other people. Ladies come first. I mean, not in the real world, just on this show. Elizabeth.
All I've done rightly. 3 to 5 times, gentlemen, before everything's ready to go.
You know what? If you do that too often, they actually complain because they start to cramp up. It just... Yeah.
Who are you sleeping?
Hey, Andrea! Other than that, I gotta call my exes, and that's just gonna get awkward. Elizabeth wants to know who I'm sleeping with.
Did she say?
Apparently, I'm sleeping with Otter, the cat over here to my right. You're a complainer. Okay, Elizabeth, what do you got tonight?
Tonight I'm drinking a little Hess Chardonnay.
Yeah, you are.
And as always, wada.
Nice. So, Hess Chardonnay. Hess, like the gas station?
Yes, but it's a vineyard in California. And my response to, do I feel like an ass?
No.
It came out yesterday.
That's not what I asked. I
thought you said...
Don't you hate it when you feel like your ass sneezed?
Sneezed?
When you feel like your ass sneezed, don't you hate that feeling?
Not as much as when it clears its throat.
Oh, there's a little sticky globule. I hate it when my ass goes...
Okay. I yield the floor to Chris.
Well, I'm drinking a good old Angry Orchard.
It wasn't angry till it got on the show. Which Angry Orchard is it?
This one's just the crisp apple.
Oh, the crisp apple. They name it after you?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's well done. Yeah, good job. Is that all you got?
Anything to say about your ass?
Nope.
You know, No, I shouldn't bring that up this show. It's something we shouldn't talk about. I want to save it for another Insensitive Bastards episode, and I really feel like we need Ed and Kevin on for those. Because it's less offensive when coming from a violated minority, a woman, such as yourself, Elizabeth, and a foreigner like Kevin, because he's not really white, he's British.
I didn't know I was violated. I think I would like to be violated. It's been a long time.
They missed me. Can we go back to violating part?
Oops. Oops.
I violated again. Let's see. What do you think? The big long church warden pipe tonight?
Sure.
It's pretty. Okay, let's dig into my Dunhill 960. See, I get a big old.
That's how more trouble starts.
That's right.
It's pretty.
See, it's my. That's how dating starts, marriage starts, kids. We have our first viewer of the Tonight Show. Tonight Show.
I think it's me.
It could be.
Or
It's hard
it could be me.
It probably.
Moderator. Yeah.
Probably. I can go look. I removed a lot of our moderators just because I'm like, why the fuck do we even have them? We don't need them. No, Chris, it's you. Chris, I want to thank you for joining the show twice.
Yep.
I don't want to thank you twice. I want to thank you once for both times you joined the show. You know, we're pressed for time here. We only have all fucking night. Okay, so anybody have anything interesting happen in their lives in the past, I don't know, 13 months since we've been on?
I moved! And as you can see, I'm in a new room!
Oh, like we know the difference. We're not that observant.
You
telling
used
us.
to stare at my bathroom, and now you've got 2 windows in my half of my bed.
It's not the exciting half. It's pretty empty.
Well,
I don't know, man. Those Star Trek sheets do it for me.
He hums that while
Beam me
masturbating.
up. Mm.
He hums that while using the Spock sock.
We need to boldly go.
So, Elizabeth, you are still the top bit cheerer of May with 70 bits, which equivalates to 70 cents, almost $1. I feel like the worst fucking stripper ever. It's not even $1. It's like, look, I got a nickel. You're lucky you didn't get pennies, you little fucker. Just bend over. I'm inserting it in your coin slot.
There you go. Are we up to $1?
$1.20.
Oh, thank God. $1.20. So there's like 2 dimes. Like, I'm ever going to dig those out.
Well, what are they doing up their ass?
It could be 4 nickels.
It could be 4 nickels. I like that word, fornicles. It's like what you do when you're having sex. What are you doing? Fornicles.
Barnacles.
Me and the wife, we're getting frisky. We're all crazy. We got some fornicles going on. So,
All right, so yesterday, something... Oh, wait, you moved. You moved.
he
Let's
moved.
talk
Yeah,
about
we're going to go
moving.
with
You like
Chris
your
with his
place?
moving first. Tell us more.
Come on.
He's so excited about this.
It's closer to one of the 2 places that I work, so that's... I think my bedroom is a little wider, but it's not as long, which makes me sad.
No, it's like your new penis.
Girth. Come on.
I can't put all of my furniture the way I wanted, so I need to decide if I need to keep furniture or not. But the bathroom is bigger, which is nicer.
Why?
Well, because now I'm not in a, 2.5-foot cube shower that's barely enough for you to turn around in.
Do you have a big clawfoot tub that we can come over and use?
No.
Yeah.
And the closet's smaller. It's wider, but smaller. It's not as
I
deep.
think it's all right to be white.
You know, I don't think it matters if closets are smaller anymore because most people aren't in them, and it's okay for them to be smaller at this point.
Chris, I don't know the situation in with your furniture, but in New York, they tend to use a lot of space upwards and not just outward. And so I've seen them put beds on top of dressers, and, raising your bed is a good use of space.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really the problem. It's more square footage, because the desk that I use to cut all of my gemstones on is 5 feet long by 3 feet wide. It's a big table. It's supposed to be, it's one of those solid wood desks from IKEA. It's the most solid thing I've ever gotten from IKEA. because it's just
Well, you
a
didn't
giant
meet
plank
Marty
of
in the
wood.
back room then.
And it doesn't fit along the wall I want it to, so I could rotate it and put it in front of the window, but then it would block half of the window. You know, it's
Why don't you
complicated.
just make it so put the nightstand on the other side of the window, block the whole window with it, so you can look out the window while you're working on your gemstones?
Well, because that's the side I sleep on,
Hmm.
and I need the nightstand.
Well, here's what you do: you turn your bed around so the foot is against the wall and the head is sticking out, and then you sleep on the same side but on the other side.
And then my pillow falls off.
You know, we
Pick
used,
it up.
we used to have these things called headboards. Of course, the back of the headboard looked horrible.
Well,
I just rip them off.
Like
well, I
I
need
do.
something with good attachment points, but that's another story.
That's why you make your own out of 4x4s
Isn't it
and
kind of-
eye bolts. What?
Isn't it kind of fun to have these problems, Chris? A new space, a new issues with furniture.
Yeah.
She opened
I
up
mean-
with, "Isn't it fun to have these problems?" I mean, there's much worse problems you can have.
That is certainly true. And like our kitchen is much larger and much nicer, and you can fit more than one person working in the kitchen at a time.
All right,
which
more
is-
dirty dishes.
Well, yes, but the dishwasher actually works.
Mm.
So
What are they Hispanic or did you get somebody else?
I'm the same guy.
He just works in this house. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And, so, any other interesting stuff before we flip to story, Elizabeth's story about yesterday? It seems
I
so
think
far
it's-
away.
We're sending a show to New York tomorrow.
You
So
are.
that's fun.
Can we use the phrase deporting, please?
We're deporting a show to New York.
Thank
To
you.
be
I
fair,
regret.
it is about a bunch of Brits. Where's Kevin? Specifically about Margaret Thatcher and the Queen. There's a British festival.
You know,
Festival
speaking of
in-
Margaret, I found a movie for Andrea to watch because I think she'll enjoy it, and it has Maggie Smith and Judi Dench as the two leading roles. I think it's called like Ladies in Lavender or Old Ladies in Lavender or something like that.
Is it a fairly recent movie?
It might be. It's on Amazon Prime. Basically,
It
they
sounds-
find somebody named
I think I
Andrea.
remember seeing like a preview for that before it came out.
I don't know. It's I figured with those two in it, and it was rated 4.5 stars. I'm like, this has got to be a pretty decent movie, and Andrea likes that sort of thing anyway. And those two, come on, they're just really.
Yeah.
Even if you're like watching a movie, you're like, I don't want to fucking watch this. They're great in it.
Well, yeah, they're getting to that age where they have no fucks left to give, so they're just having fun.
Yeah, and they play those characters. I think
Really
it was
well.
great when Judi Dench played M in James Bond, and of course Maggie Smith really in everything. Whether it's Harry Potter or Downton Abbey, she just doesn't. She's just.
There's going to be a Downton movie coming out soon. I don't remember if it was Amazon or Netflix. One of them picked it up, and they're doing a like full movie. The Queen comes to Downton.
Nice. By the way, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Or I'm sorry. Hello, Kevin. Ladies in Lavender is what it's called. Actually, about a decade ago, but a good movie. And Toei says hello, all. By the way, question tonight, Kevin.
Hey.
Toei is: don't you hate it when you feel like your ass sneezed? We'll be coming back to that often during the show, just to check up on different people's answers. Don't you hate it when you feel like your ass sneezed? Which I have a story about when we get around to me. Elizabeth, what happened?
Every
What?
time you say that, you say, I hear, don't you hate it when you're asked every time?
Sneeze.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
What we actually I was going back to you with everything that happened yesterday. You were telling us a story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to catch up with a friend from New York. I've worked with him through many festivals for years. And we went to his cousin's house, had a fantastic barbecue. Lots of little kids running around.
Well, that's what you barbecued.
Baby back ribs, boo. It was Aaron's birthday. He was 4.
Now, was that the friend you went to visit?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Usually at 4 they are.
Haven't known
Boy,
him
they can
long, but
really
he's
drink
okay
that
so
far.
far.
Yeah, they can just slam it down.
Really into the bottle. Not supposed to be anymore, but
It was a really relaxed party, and we ended up playing. There was a big water balloon fight, and a lot of movies, and we ended up playing games of humanity, or Cards Against Humanity.
now, did you participate in the water balloon fights?
I know.
Which, by the way, I know
I like getting wet.
you guys don't
It's
even
not
know the
fun.
topic tonight, but the topic tonight will tie into what we're talking about right now. So we'll get back to the topic.
Oh, sorry.
But go on. So, Cards Against
What was?
Humanity.
Well, hang on. The water balloon was really cool. It almost looked like a stalk of Brussels sprouts, and you attach the stalk to the hose, and then all these 100 balloons fill up, tie up themselves, and
They
and then it
they
was just
tie themselves off?
Yeah, they're
How?
self-timed. They're super neat.
How?
the way the little Chinese children twist them on there.
By 17, their hands are like, they look like something out of Dark Crystal, which, by the way, I have seen shots from the new Dark Crystal.
I know it looks so good.
Let's hope it is better than the first one, because there's a reason it took this long.
Yeah, the first one's pretty damn good though.
It's pretty damn boring. And frankly, Gelflings are fucking creepy
I'm
looking.
so sorry for you.
Yeah, it was boring. It's a dull. I dozed off with it when I watched it as an adult. It did not hold my interest at all.
I was fascinated. I couldn't blink.
I mean, the
I-
Skeksis scared the crap out of me as a kid.
They're my favorite part as an adult. They kept my interest a lot more than those creepy looking Gelflings.
Those battle beetles that were picking up the poor little gelfling or little guys and throwing them in a basket. That was terrifying. God, that was great. I got off topic.
Apparently, I didn't creep
So
out
they
as
play
easy as
Cards
you
Against-
guys. Go on, yes.
Cards Against Humanity. Well, I was 12. Come on, jeez. And I actually won. Yay! But what was fascinating was, number one, I was the only white person. So
Nice. That's always kind of nice.
it opened a whole door of racism and hilarity.
I do that at work.
So much fun.
We have 4 managers that are tall, thin, bearded white dudes. And I'll be hanging out with like the black older women. I'm like, I told one of them something and I don't remember which because they all look alike to me. And the black with their heads will snap towards me like, what did you just say? And I'm like, that's right, I said it. They're like, Travis, the shit you say. I'm like, mm-hmm. Go on, Elizabeth.
Well, it was one of my cards was dungeon sex porn, and everyone said, "Well, yeah, white people are into that,"
So I'm curious, what was are they black or Hispanic, Indian? What racial group were you hanging out with?
Yeah, black, Puerto Rican,
That's a party.
and Mexican,
That's a party. Okay, go
like
on.
real Mexican. Yeah.
What, as opposed to
I
like...
I couldn't argue it. I said, "Yeah, well, we are." Okay. But it came up. It was fun though. It was a great bunch of people. And the funny thing was ass bleaching. And they said, well, white people into that. And I said, are we? Did I miss that meeting? And then it just went downhill from there. But I have to say that was a brilliant game. Whoever invented that, God bless them. And it was very freeing to be with people that politics weren't involved. We weren't hung up on ridiculous distractions. It was just so much laughter and fun, and we were barely drinking. A lot of soda.
Okay.
It was a good time. Now I'd like to counter that with how it ended. They got the latest Mortal Kombat video game.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most violent, gruesome, brutal thing I have ever seen
Yes, it is.
in a video game.
Mortal Kombat 11.
And
They've
I
been
write
outing that
horror
like
movies.
crazy. Mm-hmm.
It's slow motion. It's not enough that the spike goes through their eye. It has to go through their eye, and then they have to rip it out, and then they have to throw you up and then shove the scorpion thing through your head, and it's all in slow motion as you're dismembered, and the blood is flying right at the camera. It's a whole new world, Joan.
So it's pretty much just like a woman on her period then.
No,
No.
not even close.
Woman on her period is worse.
We can't be. It is not a video game. I was just surprised.
Hmm.
We're playing on a screen. Oh God, it had to be at least 5 feet wide, and it was crystal clear brutality. And you couldn't skip the part.
I think that's very American, crystal clear brutality. I think it's one of our signature moves, really. Don't show us a boobie, but God damn it, let's see how that person dies in crystal clear clarity.
No nipples. No nipples.
It was just a Facebook meme that one of my friends was sending around, and like the top panel was a guy sitting on his couch, like on his phone, and like it's a bloody battle on screen, and like death, gore everywhere, and then the panel underneath it is like him throwing his phone up, like freaking out, oh God, and it's a pad with a little bit of blood in the middle of it.
True story. John, by the way, has popped in. Hi, John. And he says, that's why they are period.
John.
It's over.
Period. And the little birthday boy ended up on my lap by the end of the evening, curled up. He knows a pillow when he sees one.
In a fetal position, weeping.
No, he got the new what was that raptor creature from the new Jurassic Park? They created the Indoraptor.
Yeah.
He got that as a birthday gift, and that had caused a lot of turmoil between him and his brother.
Yeah, because
And
it
he was
ate
on my
4
lap
of the
when-
guests.
Well, they lost the game.
I guess that would literally make them a sore loser.
All over the place. It was a good night.
So what else did you have go on in the past couple weeks?
How about you? I had my turn. How about you?
Oh, I've got a half dozen things. It's let's see here. So I started writing a new book in the past month, actually towards the beginning of the month. Silver and Smith. So I've been writing on that generally in the mornings and streaming. I got a bit behind.
That's when I watch you.
Other than that, let's see here. We have had Corner Bird return to our house, who's a bird that nests in the corner of our front porch. She had 5 babies, which as of today, the 5th one has finally left the nest. So that was very exciting. Yeah, I know. I went over to look and make sure none fell out, and the last one was like, "Fuck, he's under the nest," and he flew away. And I'm like, oh, I feel horrible. Let me go put it back in the nest. And he's like, "No, I can fly." Then he hits my car and falls down. I'm like, "Oh, let me help." And he's like, "No, I can fly." And he hits Andrea's car and falls down. I'm like, "Oh, let me help." He's like, "No, I can fly." And he landed 12 feet away. And I'm like, "Fuck you. Get back to the nest if you want to."
Yeah, now he's like, "Please help me. Wait, what are you doing?"
I was just playing hard to get and soft boiled. Wait, no, out of the egg. Never mind. Look, wait, come here. Hold on. We got a parade of dead flamingos. Speaking of Corner Bird getting out of the nest. Hold on. There you go. There you go. See right here. See where it is. Okay, we need to clip that. Somebody hit clip. We also had baby bunnies in the backyard that I did not mow over. Which, by the way, Does anybody have a 5/16 ratchet head and a 3-foot metal pole I could put on my ratchet so I can get the fucking blades off my mower and put the new ones on? Anybody? Huh? Okay.
No.
I gotta find that. Yeah, there was whole.
Yeah, I might.
Well,
How long does? Say that again. You 3
Okay.
foot.
So I need a 5/16 ratchet head, first of all. Now, the blades are on so tight, when you put that 5/16 ratchet on and you try to turn it, it doesn't turn, which means you need some leverage. Which means you need a 3 to 6 foot metal pole that you can slide over the ratchet and then use that to pop the nut. Well, thank you, Kevin, for sliding your cock into the conversation. And yeah, I'll see what I...
Did you try heating it up first?
Oh yeah, fucking put the mower right over the fire. Yeah, that was a... Then the explosion happened. I lost my eyebrows.
No, really. Did you try heating up just the nut?
No, it was 90 degrees out. Does that help?
No.
Wouldn't heating it up
they can get
make
rusted.
it swell and harder to remove?
I thought that too.
Uh-huh.
I thought that too, and I've seen people do it.
So just like a lighter?
I've seen them do it with the butane torch
Okay.
and with like hairspray and layer.
Okay, so I can use like one of my cigar lighters then.
Yeah, probably.
Hold on, let me get the flamethrower. I'll be right back, let you know how it goes.
You don't have one? You want to borrow mine?
By the way, Toey, thank you. I will keep that in mind. Andrew works at Lowe's, so I figured just get a 5/16 head wrench. And as for the large metal pipe, then again, I could do what everybody at Lowe's does and just return all the shit after I use it anyway.
You could do that, or can't you just use like a broomstick as the leverage going this way?
Maybe,
You know?
but the way I have to get this thing up is it's a 700-pound mower, and I lift up the front end, and then with my feet slide cat litter buckets underneath it to hold it up so I can crawl under it.
But don't you have any of those, whatchamacallit, that you drive your car up under on?
Oh, I have like 15 or 20 of those. I just never thought to. No, I don't have those. Otherwise, I would have used those.
God, if you were down here, I owe guys more of a
Just
lift.
the jack out of the back of your car and jack it up that way.
Didn't you hear the story about my jack and how like the whole car fell as I was changing the tire because the jack fucking bent while I was using it?
Okay, so not that.
But good ideas, all of them.
That's the story.
See, this is my
I think they
lawnmower
were using
adventures. And now the reason I have to change the blades is because the old blades, you've got a 3-inch wide blade or so, but there's like this much chipped out of it. So you only have this little like tooth of coming out in the last 3 inches there. It's good time. So I mowed my backyard, which was like 3-4 foot tall, and it took me 3 hours just to mow the back acre because I had to go over it multiple times with a dull blade that's part is missing, and yeah. I've got an Irish tan right now, I'll tell you that. I have been applying aloe all day and yesterday.
Hello, Linda.
But I'll look sexy to anybody that likes lobster. Because I'm a little crabby and very red.
Salty.
Oh, I know what else I could tell you about. Chris wanted to hear about this. So I got to witness a redneck wooing. So I'm in here in my office, and I hear the dulcet tones of the female redneck calling out to attract the male. I hear, "Fuck you!" So immediately, to witness this magnificent rite of nature, I rushed to the front window with my phone in the video. And yep, sure enough, the male is displaying his pride and colors, strutting along in his huge pickup truck. As she's walking down the street in her skin-tight, I guess her leggings? I don't know what you call them, because I'm not white trash. I don't know.
Leggings are not pants.
No, they're not. But she
I was
also
gonna say
had
yoga
We're
pants.
not getting into this conversation.
like a spaghetti strap tank top on. Now, it was before, this was a couple weeks ago, so it was before every night was, 65, 70 degrees. So it was like a 52, 55 degree night. And she's walking down the street in this as he's like, get in the fucking truck! And she's like, fuck you! You want to kill me? Run my ass over right now, motherfucker! It was a beautiful thing to witness. And he eventually peeled out to show his might and glory as he performed this mating ritual and zoomed down the road. And you could hear him skidding and turning around in somebody's driveway to come back. She had walked back. I had moved to the side window to witness this glorious event. And could hear her shouting more lovely things at him, like, fuck you, kill you in your sleep. And that's when I realized they actually only live 2 houses down. And I think they're the people that bring their little kids out where the little girl is screaming, no, Daddy, no! And he's like, shoot the fucking gun! It's an incredible thing. And one day I will be on the witness stand discussing this with somebody. Hello to everybody that's joined us. I want to remind you, you can throw bits and you can subscribe. Oh, that's good enough. I don't even feel like pressuring you tonight. Gary popped in. Hi, Gary. So I think the only thing I didn't cover in my list of shit that I'm doing. Oh, look at that. See, Kevin says I'm tearing up here. That was beautiful. Unless we pronounce it the other way, then he says I'm tearing up here. That was beautiful, which, I don't know, sounds like a woman giving childbirth. I'm tearing up here. Fajitas. I can talk about fajitas. That was a worthwhile moment in the past couple weeks.
You made them?
I did. I coming home for the weekend, my son came to see me after 6 weeks of not, and I'm like, oh, I want to make some...
he's alive. Cool.
He's in Germany now. They deported him. Yeah, he's Irish, not German, but yeah, well, you don't get to choose where you go back to. You just go back to wherever they send you. Kevin says, in Britain, a tear-up is a colloquialism for a punch-up, yet we're still American. We don't know what the fuck a punch-up is.
What's
Thanks,
a punch-up?
Gary says, hello, everybody. I'm moving about and multitasking. That means he's watching porn and masturbating while we're on the show. So we appreciate that.
Join the club. I mean, what?
I'm masturbating right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, you can't see my hands.
Gotcha. Kevin says fist fight, often at a pub at closing time. It's closing time. So anyhow, I decided to make fresh pico de gallo. So I went out and I had tomatoes and onions already. I got some fresh cilantro, lime, and some fresh jalapenos. Cut it all up, mixed it up. And then I made fresh guacamole, which means I took the fresh avocado, mixed that up, added some of that pico I just made, which, by the way, secret for pico, let it sit overnight, let the flavors blend, let the things essentially start to decay a little bit, and they taste better. True story. Well, after the weekend, the last day of the weekend, I realized, fuck, I've got way too much pico to eat on chips, and I'm running out of chips. The guacamole was gone, though. It was good. So I pulled out 3 pounds of boneless chicken breast.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, Kevin says, hi, I'm laying topless on my couch like a bloated version of the French girl scene from Titanic, but with bigger breasts and struggling to single task. Which is, pay attention to anything we're saying. That's pretty tough.
I want to draw him. Can I draw Kevin?
Yeah, fuck, we'll bring him on right now. You can start to whip out that dry erase board, which is really the level of quality we want with any picture of Kevin without a shirt on. Dry erase markers, really the best medium to work in. So yeah, I pulled out the boneless chicken breast, sliced it up into strips, and threw it in a skillet with a little adobe seasoning, and then that fresh pico I made. So I didn't need to add onions or peppers, and then Kevin would like to know if you can draw with seared retinas. Yeah, from as much as we drink, I'd just say yes. Really.
Is there any other way?
But once you like heat it up, the auto mod. Hold on a second. Oh, interesting. So, yeah, here's somebody who just, Kilkenny. I don't even know.
The county in Ireland?
See, Automod kicked in with, should we allow this post? Where, let's just put it in. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, see, Fat
Which
Dyke
one of the
was not
fat
allowed.
lads are you?
Yeah, or are you the Fat Dyke? Kilkenny, I have no fucking clue what your question actually means. So what I'm going to do...
I'm the voluptuous cunt. That's all I know.
I'll be the Fat Dyke. I don't mind. It's I'm pretty good with that. It's lifestyle, fighting capability. I think we can go with
Facial
that.
hair. I think you're right in.
So anyhow,
Build the hell out of a bookcase.
Absolutely.
IKEA, fuck you. I got this shit. I agree, Toey. Toey says this D&D party is getting weird. I thought it was pretty standard. There's always a dwarf. You just don't know it's female. There's 3 of them on Sunday nights. So
Rage quit. Rage quit.
had that too. So once you heated up the flour tortillas and threw a little tapatio on there or some jalapenos, these things were just enough to make you sweat a little bit, but not burn your mouth, and it was good. It was good. Kilkenny is an admirer of mine. Kilkenny has the hots for me, and I appreciate that, Kilkenny. You're fucking
He's
awesome.
into dykes, is he?
I don't really want you just assuming Kilkenny's gender, please. Yeah, I
That's
don't.
true.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm only assuming preference. I'm not assuming gender.
Well, I'm just assuming Kilkenny wants me because that's pretty natural. When trolls pop in here and try to get attention, they just want to be a little whore.
They
Really,
don't
for
have to
anybody.
try. We'll give them attention.
Gary says, surprised the whole street supposed to be insulting or worse than you are. I have several. And there we go. Let's do an opening toast here since we kind of talked about
Good idea.
everything we're doing. And
An opening toast a half an hour later.
there we go. Well, we did the opening stuff. Here's to wanting me, which is why you follow the fucking channel. The hosts are insulting just by being here, Gary. It's but sometimes the people with the little intellect and IQs have to come in and try to get some attention. It's okay. So tonight's topic is. By the way, you know what? Hold on a second. Wow, we get 11 viewers. We should leave Kilkenny here. Apparently, Kilkenny draws people to watch.
He certainly does.
Berkey, are you lurky, Berkey? Jewel, good to see you. By the way, nobody has to answer if you're actually just lurking, but glad to have you around. Good to see you. So that's good stuff. We're happy to have you. I'm just going to leave Kilkenny. That person is a laugh every 20, 30 minutes. We can't lose that kind of quality.
No.
It's yeah. They are better than an 80s laugh track in a sitcom. So let's just keep them around. So tonight's topic, I think you guys will like this. It's like the sandwich topic. Remember the sandwich topic we had for the one show? And everybody jumped on that. Childhood games. So I want to talk about, A, the games we played in our childhood versus the games played in modern children's childhood, or wherever the topic goes. It's really broad. So we could talk about tag or TV tag or freeze tag, all the versions of tag. We could talk about Monopoly and board games. We could talk about Ataris, because Elizabeth, you and I, we were the first generation with home video game systems. Well, actually, my neighbors were the first generation with it. I just went over and played there because I was a poor bastard. Berkey, I'm awesome. Glad to see you, buddy. Jewel, no need to respond. Enjoy the banter as long as it doesn't get you fired. If it does get you fired, then you're our next guest on the show. So let's see here. I don't know, guys. Hey, here's what I want. For our viewers, please feel free to make the troll feel welcome, or I could just ban the person because they're not even entertaining.
What can you take about?
Well, hold on. Let me read some of these comments so they have their attention. Plus, you guys get to hear what they're saying, because I don't know if it's worth... Hey, thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth subscribed again, bringing us up another 2 subscribers today. So there's things like, top right, you're too quite not gonna be surprised if we see your brain matter splattered across the bathroom wall with the hand rifle being the cause. So now let me make something clear. Kilkenny is one of the regular trolls that changes their names and come in. They just wanted to come in anonymous this time so they actually can harass us. I've dealt with this person before, and they're really fucking lame with their trolling. They're crap at it. It's amazing. Which they then corrected to top left, by the way. And Avon, how you been? It's been a while since you've come and trolled me. This is one of like the Irish threesome, I think. And they want me to violate them, be inside and they'll lick me all over. They'll show you parts of gender fluency you've never known exist before now. Wow. Hey, Kilkenny, you're just...
You gonna be able to do that with the nickels up your ass?
wait, me or Kilkenny? I don't know which one you're talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, years of experience. It's
That was regarding a discussion we had earlier in the show, people.
So I'm just curious, should we bother to keep really a lame troll? Are they entertaining? Are we entertained by Kilkenny? Just general vote, voice out. Because I'm not going to bother to respond to Kilkenny anymore. It's just lame.
Kevin.
So, Chris, what do you think?
Take it easy on the fat guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ignore Kilkenny or kick Kilkenny. What do you think? Berkey says ban him. What do you think, Chris? That's how I feel. I'm really ambivalent.
I am indifferent.
Elizabeth?
Bum, bum, bum.
She's whipping out the gong from the Gong Show. Okay, so we got Berkey saying ban him, Gary saying leave him. What about Toey, Jewel, John, anybody else on here who wants us to finish him? Get over here.
Kilkenny, show me what you got.
Here's the deal. If I ban Kilkenny, they're a regular. They will just make a new ID and pop back in.
That's true. Well, I don't mind him trolling. Just be entertaining.
Yeah, that's really the rule. Kilkenny,
let
me throw this at you, buddy. If you come in and troll, we love trolls. We have had people come in here to troll us who ended up being regulars because they have a good time.
Sure. On the show.
Yeah. A regular Elizabeth. The bottom line is you can be an asshole, you can be a troll, just be entertaining. And you're failing at that. And obviously now I can go and give you more attention and talk about the psychology you have, that you're attacking other people trying to be entertaining because you don't feel liked in real life, and that you're terrified of actual social interaction and meaning. So coming and being nice and reasonable and honest is not something you can do because of your self-esteem issues. But I don't want to do that. I want to laugh and have a good time tonight instead of get all huggy with you. So, see, Gary says I was giving him a chance to get better at it, which, you know what? A good troll is fucking priceless. Where the hell is Bob, speaking of good trolls? Bob started as a goddamn troll, and he's one of our favorite people when he comes around because of his stupid shit he says. He's entertaining. Let's see here.
Have you hugged a troll today? We should have a show like that.
Well, we're going to do
Troll
childhood
appreciation,
games.
dude.
So, Elizabeth, what games do you remember playing as a child?
Okay. A lot of tag.
Tag was the big one.
And we had a game, and nowadays you can't even say it. It was called Smear the Queer.
Okay.
And it wasn't about being gay.
No.
It was about whoever had the object, whatever
Right.
it was. And then you got to like dive bomb them and tackle them, and then until someone got the ball away. Or that was
Right.
just an excuse for everybody to jump on each other and I don't know,
Like kids do.
touch a feely. But I really enjoyed that one in tag. Lots of tag. Because you just had the energy and you could run, and I was always very slow, but I had to
Physically, you
outsmart
mean, right?
people. Well,
Well, never mind. Go on.
Used to play a lot of Capture the Flag.
Really?
capture the flag.
See,
Yeah.
this is why I had her go before you, because there's an age gap. There's 10 or 15 years, give or take. Whatever.
Whoa.
You know, why is everybody terrified of being aged? By the way, somebody at work the other day thought I was
Chris, you
52
look great
years
for
old.
your age.
You look great for 50, Chris. Wait,
Yeah,
what?
you can't see any of the gray in this light.
By the way, Avon says, favorite childhood game was when my uncle came over. My face.
Keep away. No, but let me finish real quick.
Go on.
With tag, and there were all sorts, swinging statues, freeze tag. You had to, you immediately realized your weakness, and you had to figure out a way around it. And I love that.
Very good.
Not always the fastest wins.
See, there was versions of, I know.
A little pale.
there was versions of tag. There was TV tag where you had to, before they could get you, you drop to the ground and say a TV show. Which,
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
this was the late 70s, early 80s, so there wasn't like all the TV there is now. Because you couldn't repeat the same one somebody else said, depending where you're at and what game you're playing.
3 channels.
Yeah.
Start here.
No, we actually had cable at that point in time, but it was like 36 channels.
Really?
But not all of them.
Really?
Yeah. It was the box with like the triple switch, and then you press the 12 different buttons to, so yeah. But,
Oh, you fancy, huh?
oh, you know what? Toei says, often played games, lawn darts, poker,
Lawn
Ouija
darts.
board. I wanted to talk about jarts, because we had those too. But we'd also play games like who could jump furthest off the roof into the yard.
We used to try and jump off the deck into the hammock below the deck.
Oh, God.
Oh.
No, didn't often end well.
Can you imagine your poor parents watching you? Oh my God!
Well,
Yeah.
yes, after the first time, and we were banned from doing it again.
And them without a cell phone to film it and put it online. Oh, my God, what horror.
Did anyone break a leg or an arm?
No, no one actually broke. Well, I was the only one to ever break a bone in my backyard. Thank God. It was the little bone that is just after your pinky on the side of your foot. And I broke it jumping off of the slide off of our jungle gym.
yeah.
I landed, on it.
Yeah.
Walked on it for 11 days before going to the doctor because it was like, oh, it hurts, it'll be fine. And the swelling went down for a while. And then right around day 9, the swelling came back and started getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, that
Good
was fun.
times.
It's the only bone I've ever broken. And
Yeah,
I've
it
had
was.
sprains and strains
What?
and all that other crap out the wazoo.
You haven't been to the doctor yet. You might have broken another one in your foot.
You know what it is? I bet that's because that's the same foot. So I bet I like fucked it up somehow and
Toei
aggravated it.
said
Oh well.
most of the time we were just building forts in the woods and throwing rocks at each other. I have
Yeah.
stories.
Acorns. We
Yeah.
got a giant oak tree that had the really big, like, 1.5 to 2 inch acorns.
Here they come, guys. Here they come. Little more, little more. Oh! So,
Need to put them under a black light.
I know. It's why you gotta
Oh,
be
they're
racist.
beautiful.
So yeah, growing up in South Florida, our forts. Oh, Toei says I have those too. Yeah, Andrea's. We had them, and Andrea's now repainting them to give to someone else because we're just not using them anymore. We might keep one in the yard. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we would dig forts in the sand, and we had a lot of construction in our neighborhood, and just put boards over it to make this hole that we boarded in. And then we had forests. We'd always play in the woods, and Spin the Bottle was a game I would play during elementary school, by the way. It's yeah, but it wasn't like take off a piece of clothing, spin the bottle. Wait, no, it was. That's right. I was surprised when I learned you were supposed to just kiss the person the bottle pointed at. We would have them take off a piece of clothes, and when you were naked, you had to run around the circle until somebody else got naked and had to take off the clothes. Elementary school, okay? Elementary school. So when people are like, children don't need to know about sex, and yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's,
See, and my little sister and I, we played a lot of Monopoly, and she won't play Risk with me
Strip Monopoly?
anymore. What?
Nothing, go on.
Yeah, she won't play Risk with me anymore. We played a lot
What?
of Magic the Gathering when
yeah.
I got older, because right about age 10, I got into Magic the Gathering. So then I needed someone to play with, so I got her into it, and then, Pokemon.
Oh, hold on. Kevin's got like 3 paragraphs here. We built a rope swing in the woods. It swung across a clearing and out over a heavily wooded slope around 25 foot deep. My friend, a Dutch kid with the wonderful name of Adrian Meligers, fell off of it over the high point and broke 3 oh my god! 3 vertebrae. Oh, those helicondes? How the fuck do you pronounce that?
Halcyon?
Halcyon, thank you. We like throwing those snap. Oh yeah, the popping fireworks.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Poppers.
Yeah, poppers.
Yeah.
So
Because Taylor said she liked throwing rocks, so I liked. Yeah. Kevin, I did Conquerors when I was living in England, and he knows what those are.
I'm sure he does. You want
tie
to tell
it
the rest of
from
us?
the
or
tree,
you-
the little conchs, a string around it, and then you swing them at each other, not at each other, at another's conch, and whoever's cracked lost the battle, and then
See, I remember the kids in the
swinging
neighborhood.
conquers.
Since we had so much construction, there'd be like, let's go ding dong ditch. We did not call it that back then, Avon. It was the
That's what I called
N-word knocking. Remember? Knocking. Yeah, ding dong ditch
What?
was a more PC version. N-word knocking. So
Nancy knocking?
Yeah, Nancy knocking. It was Nancy. Hi!
Nagger knocking?
Let's run! Any,
See, I called
I'm
it
Nancy Reagan.
I called it ding dong ditch, but when
Yes,
I moved to America, everyone corrected me. It was knocking.
yeah, let's go with Nazi knocking. Let's go with Nazi. Zig Hill, ding dong. So anyhow, the kids in my neighborhood, they would go to a lot, which was, plowed over, and they removed the trees and stuff, but they had piles of rocks and dirt, and they would have rock fights. And I remember when the neighborhood kids invited me to go to a rock fight, and I'm like, a what? And they're like, a rock fight. I'm like, what do you do? They're like, we throw rocks at each other. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to that. And I went and stood across the street and watched these little fucking morons throw rocks at each other. I'm like, how was that fun?
We used to do that like after like it would rain in a couple days later when the dirt was all clumped together, and not fall apart, and float up to each other, and then there wasn't one with a rocket, but magically there would be.
Hey,
And
Chris,
then you
you're coming across really choppy. Would you change it to Central and see if that fixes the problem, please? Give me a second there, Avon. We'll figure it out. Kevin says a pro conquer horse chestnut player will soak a conker for 3 days in vinegar, then bake it in the oven on a low heat for a couple hours. They harden like concrete.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, let's see if that helps. I've still got red connection on Discord, but OBS is showing fine, and it's green now. So maybe that works out. Let's give this a shot. Chris, please repeat what you were saying.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
It was knicker knocking. That's what we called it.
Let's go
Knicker
with
knocking.
knicker. Yeah.
That's what we called it. Knicker knocking. I was in England.
Yeah, that's not.
I didn't know I was wrong.
I
didn't
grew
know I
up
was
in
racist.
South Florida. Even the black kids called it this. Okay, I went to when I
Oh,
went
they
to
just want to
elementary.
claim everything. You know what? I'm going to look it up, and knicker is probably a horrible word, and I'm a horrible person.
It just means panties. Knickers are panties. That's all.
Aren't they pants?
Well, the pants are panties also. That's why they call them trousers in the UK. By the way, Toey says, I split a bully's head with a rock during one of our wars. He was my age, but picking on one of my younger neighbors. Well done, Win. Good job there. We like it. Avon says, yeah, we called it knick-knack. Chris, and now you were saying something before I had to change regions, and I want to give you a chance to finish it.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Sorry.
Okay, if it
You
comes
see it
down...
listed on the internet, knicker knocking.
Okay. See, to me, knicker knocking would be like just, dry humping, I guess.
Or you need to clean your underwear.
There is a show on Netflix, and Elizabeth, I sent you a link to an article about this show called Rim of the World. But one of the kids makes a joke going, oh, I just took a real dump over there. That thing's been touching cotton all day long. I thought that was funny. But it's an 80s kids adventure movie, which actually is pretty good. But this is a genre that disappeared as the big blockbusters took the market away. And now Netflix is paying for these fucking things, and there's not 10 rewrites before it goes into production. They're like, no, we like the script. Just go make it. Here's $15 million. Or whatever.
Oh, here it is. Thanks.
Yeah, check that out. It's a quick read. It's not giving you any great information other than this seems to be a thing. And they got McG to direct it. And the guy who wrote it is the one that wrote X-Men First Class and one of the Thor movies. And it was produced on, like I said, like a $15 million budget, which is nothing nowadays for anybody that doesn't know.
That's medium. That's a medium budget.
Netflix handed the money, and a year later it's
The whole series? How long is it? Do
No,
we know?
one movie. It's a movie.
Oh, that's a nice. I could.
So go check out the movie. It's pretty decent. It's not the best special effects. It's a little cheesy. A lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. The kids are not annoying, though. Which Win says...
Is it sincere?
How? Yes.
There's the cat over your shoulder. He's funny. He's cute.
He's working his way to his anus. Win says, I've been watching a lot of the Netflix movies and series. Many of them are pretty good. Toey, that's what they're talking about with this article that I sent to Elizabeth, is there was a genre in the 80s of the kids' action-adventure comedy movies. Like Goonies, The Explorers, all these. And people loved them. And they disappeared as basically the studios stopped producing, and romantic comedies. Studios stopped producing romantic comedies because though they bring in money every time, it's not the same money as a superhero flick or Star Wars or any of these. And that's what they're aiming for. Elizabeth, you have frozen, my dear.
I know.
She looks
Okay.
fine.
You're still with us. Is she fine to you, Chris?
Yeah, she isn't frozen to me.
Okay.
Okay. Let it go. Let it go.
Elizabeth, let me do this. Do me a favor, if you can, just flick off your camera and flick it back on. I don't know how to work on the device you're using currently, but
It
just
didn't
turn it
work.
off. Turn it back on.
Okay, now she's frozen.
She's,
Hang on, everybody.
there we go. There's her pickle.
Is that better?
Yes, you're moving again. Good. But
I
yeah.
asked.
Uh-huh.
I asked because I think, from my limited understanding of the industry, there's been a big move. They call them tentpole productions. These movies, they put a shit ton of money in there, hoping it makes a shit ton back,
Right.
which is eventually going to bankrupt everyone because you can't have more than 1 or 2 bombs.
Right.
Everything's bank loans. And I asked about the sincerity because, I'm continually trying to market material and questioning where I am and my humor. And I noticed the difference between what I'm writing and other people. And comedy for adults has gotten to PG-13 and R.
Right.
And there's been a lot of improvisation and just, I guess, over-sexualization, just raunchiness,
Okay.
which can be funny,
Right. It can be.
but it definitely limits your market. You'll
Well-
notice with these kids' films, it's a little more constrained and the humor is a little softer
Here's what I'll tell you.
and not this raunchiness. And it gives me hope.
I think you'll enjoy this. Okay, Gary says that was a nice, pleasant freeze. Oh, that's true, Gary. It wasn't awkward. With this movie, Elizabeth, it is sincere. You do get feelings from the kids relating to their parents, each other, etc. So, but if you, the comedy in it is slightly inappropriate, which I appreciated, and slightly offensive. For example, it has the black guys talking. They're like, "Why are all the camp counselors black?" And they're like, "That's because that's where the man keeps us to keep us down." And they start talking about cartoons and how they're all about keeping the black man down. And they're like, "Why are we talking like 80s black men?" Because that's what the man wants us to do. So I'm okay with that kind of humor because it's mocking the stereotypes. And I find that humorous because that's what we do a lot. There's also one thing there where they're talking to the little redhead kid who's the main character, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Logan. I'm the camp counselor. I run this camp. Good to see you. Look, this is how the black man shakes hands." And he does the slap, snap, smack, whack. And he's like, "Don't let me catch you trying to do that shit. You got me." So it's things like that as the humor, and they don't overly sexualize. There is one girl in there, and there's a black kid, there's a white kid, there's a brown kid, I'm guessing Hispanic, and there's a Chinese girl. So they kind of did that thing with it, but they don't press on that besides being able to use each group's humor. So I was pretty pleased with it. It was a fun watch, much better than I expected.
I'm looking it up right now, see the writer.
Yeah, watch the trailer, because the trailer did a pretty good job of telegraphing what you're going to see, and see if you like it. Let's go back to children's games, though.
Yes.
Chris, I want to hear a little more about your childhood games, because apparently you had similar stuff to us, besides Magic, which was by the time I was 20 or whatever.
Right.
Whereas,
I mean,
but
I
you
started
throwing yourself
playing-
off the deck at the hammock, that's pretty similar to some of the shit we did.
Yeah. There was also a pine tree near my friend's house that we used to climb that was old and continued to die the older we got. So, as you tried to climb up to it, it was like, ooh, which branch is going to break under you today?
And then you get that big gash up your thigh where you fell and slid down it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was, I was an outdoor kid when I was younger, and then as I got older, I well, I always burned as a young outdoor kid, but made my way inside, and then played more of the N64 and the Super NES, which none of which I had as a kid. It was always friends and things because my parents didn't believe in having those types of games in the house. We were allowed to use the computer to play games, most of which were all educational.
You poor
I
bastard.
played through all of the Magic School Bus games, all of the Carmen Sandiego's.
No, Chris, when you were young, they still had Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got up at 7:30 every morning to start Saturday morning cartoons.
Hell yeah. See, now we have Cartoon Network, so Saturday morning cartoons are kind of just gone.
Oh, that's wrong.
It was a special thing. It made it special. It's like, oh, let's have pizza and steak and ice cream every night. Well, then it doesn't fucking matter if you have pizza, steak, and ice cream. You don't fucking care. But if you have it once a month, it's a special meal. Hold on. Gary says, we used to have Favorhood Wars. Hold on a second. I gotta scroll back up. With their guns. If you don't know what a dirty air gun pretty far, we would see each other shoot. And I'm guessing he's got a lot of autocorrect issues here, so I'm going to translate. We used to have neighborhood wars with air guns. If you don't know what a dirty air gun shoots pretty far. We would shoot each other in the face. I don't know what was wrong with us, but we were vicious. Kevin says, I still have my 48K rubber-keyed Spectrum. That sounds like a dildo. Write that down, Elizabeth, for your movie.
48K.
48K rubber-keyed Spectrum with my 128K, which was state-of-the-art because it had a built-in tape deck. Disregard that, says Gary. I think I translated it okay, Gary. I think we got it. I had friends who would have BB gun wars, air gun wars. And yeah,
Oh, God.
shoot each other in the fucking head or face. My ex-wife's first husband actually lost sight in one eye for 30 years before he finally had laser surgery because he had one of those BB gun wars. Of course, let me point out, though a very nice guy, I am so much smarter than him because like the Rock fights, when people are like, you want to have a BB gun war? I'm like, a what? Oh, we take BB guns and we shoot each other. I'm like, no, I don't. You want to go get the bean bags? We'll throw those at each other. Nerf ball. Chris?
I had my slingshot taken away because I nailed the neighbor in the face with a big acorn, that was 1.5 to 2 inches. The whole top of his face swelled up.
Oh.
See, that's great.
We found these guns. We were living in Berlin, and they were spring-loaded, and they shot weren't quite clay, some kind of polymer. So you get hurt, but it wasn't quite a BB.
Those little rubber yellow ones?
No, they were gray, and they were ball bearings, but they were softer. And my mother would find them. Oh, she hated those guns. She would throw them away, and I was sneaky, and I'd go find them in the trash, take them out. She eventually won that battle. But
Me and my sister had rubber band guns, and normally it was just like the block of wood with a single paper clip, clothespin clip on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got ones that had a rotating wheel, so it had
I know you're talking
12,
about.
and you wrapped it around this wheel that went around.
And you click that shit back 8 times.
Right. Yeah. Those got dangerous. I remember because we had rubber band guns, when we had the multi-shooter ones, we ruled. We were kings.
A few comments I'd like to read off here. Kevin says, I got shot in the ass with a .22 air rifle, age 10. Still got the scar. Kevin, we need a picture, please. Gary says, they were dirt air rifles that you'd stick in the ground, fill the barrel with rocks, dirt, etc., and shoot each other. We had these. We would tape tennis ball cans, which were metal during that era, together, 3 of them, and you drop a tennis ball or a potato down in there, fill the bottom, you'd poke a hole in the side like a modern bong, and you'd break open firecrackers and put the gunpowder in there, and then you'd light it, and it would shoot that motherfucking ball or potato like 100 yards. God forbid you held that shit where it can actually aim. We didn't usually
so you
do
made
that.
a very ghetto potato cannon, is what you're
Yeah, it's
telling me.
exactly right.
I think we need to make one and have a video.
Kevin says we had those
Yeah, but
used
now
potatoes
you
as
can make them with better, more modern things and shoot further.
yeah, like
Well, we could do a comparison video.
we could old way versus new way. Kevin, I'm curious. You said yeah we had those used potatoes as well. They hurt like, and there's 4 asterisks. Did you delete the word fuck? Did you not say fuck on the show? 'Cause I'm really disappointed. I called them spud guns. Gary says also whip each other with weeping willow whips with tank tops and shorts. Yeah.
Yep.
Toey says, oh yeah, slingshots. We were always shooting each other with those. Oh, and then Elizabeth threw 100 bits. Thank you, Elizabeth. There's $2 in my jock.
Shake it, baby.
Thank you, Kevin. Did you really like edit? Or I'm curious, Kevin. I'm asking because if I have the settings where it auto block the word fuck, I need to go change that.
Auto block.
Because that's not how we roll
Well, it
here.
did block cunt, so.
Yeah, we allowed cunt, but it blocked fuck. Kevin auto editing him.
Well, that's my name, so.
Cunt or fuck? Which one?
Cunt.
Okay. No, Kevin says no.
By
I
the
edited.
time I was, like 10ish and Pokemon had come out, that ate up a lot of my time on like the Game Boy Color. Well, the original Game Boy and then Game Boy Color.
See that?
Skipped over the Game Boy Advanced right into the DS, but
Now that my time. Chris, there's what 10 years between me. I'm 47. You're 35 or something, right?
33 this year.
Okay, so you're 12 years. Elizabeth, what do you got there?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, yeah, we did an hour. She's going to take a break. She's going to mute herself. There we go. But yeah, I that was by the time that came out. I wasn't playing handheld video games very much anymore. I wanted to, but the price, and I had my ex's 2 younger kids, so they got them first. So I never really played that kind of stuff. So what about board games? Like, for example, in the living room, I have the wooden box set that has chess and checkers and backgammon and Mills and Mancala and 6 or 8 other games. I don't fucking know. But in my childhood, Connect 4.
Oh yeah, we played a lot of Connect 4.
Battleship.
Yes. And then I got the Star Wars Battleship that was automated. That was
What?
nifty.
No, fuck.
Yeah.
I had this
I
made.
wonder, it might still be in a box at my parents' house. If I can find that shit, I'll pull it out. But like, it was like Star Destroyers were your battleship, and like an A-Wing was the little 2-ship one. And
Hold
like,
on. Hold on. Just you can keep talking, but I'm googling Star Wars Battleship.
It was awesome. And then we also used to play Guess Who a whole lot.
Guess who? That's funny. Did you have like Cootie and Operation?
We had Cootie. I didn't have Operation. We played Mancala a lot. Trying to think of whatever.
Okay, I feel like I need this because yeah, they have it still, and it's only $30. I kind of need to see the ships better. Okay, so you didn't actually put the pegs in the ships. They had the base underneath it that you put pegs in. Here, let me share the link.
I feel like mine did put the pegs in the ship.
Okay, Penta, yeah. Jewel says Penta, kind of like Go. I have a handmade board for that, Jewel. I used to sell it at Ren fairs. Toei says we also played nonstop with those hot goop molding systems like Creepy Crawly.
I totally had Creepy Crawlies.
What about the Shrinky Dinks? Where they started out this big and you cooked them, they shrunk down to like the size of a quarter.
I never played with Shrinky Dings. I did have a light bright that I used to play with a lot.
Light brights
I
were
love my
confusing
light
because
bright.
you're like, this is really cool. Oh, fuck, there's really nothing I'm doing. Okay, I kind of like this. I'm just going to...
Okay, yeah, this is like not the Star Wars battleship I had. Mine was huge, it talked and automated, and you had to choose a battle plan. Like, it was intense.
I want to tell you about this one game I had. It looked like a dungeon. Oh, fuck, Walmart has that for $20. The Star Wars... I'm just going to add that to my little wish list for Talk of the Tavern. Somebody can look at it and go, yeah, I'm not buying that. We'll go with that. But anyhow, so I had this one game. It looked like it had a dungeon wall going around it, and it had a pad that each button was sensitive. And you had like 4 different miniatures, and you had to find your way through the maze and find the treasure. And it was really boring, but it looked really cool. A couple other additions here: Aggravation, Legos. Hey, how about Trouble, where you pop the little bubble and it makes the dice bounce?
I didn't have trouble. My cousins had trouble.
Kevin says Mousetrap, Game of Life, Kerplunk, Buckaroo, Hungry Hungry Hippos.
All good games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Me and my best friend got in a fight over the Game of Life once, and like did not speak for like 6 months.
Why? What was that
It
all
was his
about?
birthday. We were playing Life, and we were like super hopped up on sugar. Like I'm talking like those like 3-foot pixie sticks. Like each of us had like 2 or 3 of those, and like he got a card and got like fashion braces, I want to say, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And was just laughing and laughing and laughing, and it pissed him off to no end, and we didn't speak for like 2 months.
So you laughed at him getting a girly card and he got upset.
Pretty much.
Okay. By the way, Jewel, why are you apologizing? I have no idea why you're apologizing. You said Legos. That's valid. That's a kid's toy. That's a game we played-ish. I mean, if we want to go into action figures, that was my jam. Fuck board games. I was all about the Star Wars figures. I settled for G.I. Joe. But I figured if we stick to games... Kevin says, I had a bunch of plastic boats that moved, powered by baking. I remember those. They had little tablets.
Oh, yeah. I had a submarine that did the same.
Yeah, little jet holes at the back. When it reacted with the water, they moved forward. Hours of fun for a quid's worth of baking soda. See,
Yeah.
Or cap guns. How about cap guns?
I've had a couple of those. So, Travis, I am talking about Star Wars Electronic Galactic Battle.
Did you link it somewhere?
Ooh.
No, I'm trying.
A couple of things. Kennedy, hello. Glad to see you. Kung Fu Grip with G.I. Joe, where I'm actually talking about the shorter ones in my case. Kevin says, love Sorry, used to play it with my gran. Jules says, sorry, is it... Oh, sorry, you were mentioning the game. Oh, I know the game. I thought you were apologizing. But yes, Sorry is the one where you press the dice and it pops up. And I have a Batman version in the other room that I bought for Andrea after we got together because she likes Batman.
I linked it into Discord chat. Or not Discord chat, in Twitch chat.
Candyland and Clue.
Clue.
Oh, yeah.
Andrea loves Clue.
Yeah.
We could do a whole
Yeah.
party night here based around Clue, but the old one, not this new shit.
And I want to interject this here.
It was really fun.
A friend of mine, he and his good friends he hadn't seen in like a decade. And it was them, all couples, they all got together and they threw a Clue party
Okay.
where every room was a room in the game. And there were different snacks and themes, and then you had to figure out who murdered who.
That's fun.
Micro Machines.
Micro Machines? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
I'm scrolling through the Google search, and it came up with a bunch of Star Wars Micro Machines.
Gary says, had G.I. Joe also with Bionic Eye. Gary, I don't think that was G.I. Joe. That was the $6 million man. Because you would play with that with your 12-inch G.I. Joes. And Action Jackson. I don't remember Action Jackson. I remember the movie.
Had a Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, I remember Stretch Armstrong with that jelly filling. That wasn't really
Well,
jelly,
now
but
it's a
you'd try
jelly
it.
filling. It was like a corn starchy back in the day. Now it's like a weird gel
Gotcha,
because
Kevin.
they've remade him.
I thought they're all like bound rubber bands now instead of the jelly that kids would eat.
The $6 million man had the eye, he looked through the head,
Right.
and the bionic woman had the head that would twist like her ear.
But you also had the leg for her and the arm for him, and you can actually
Yep.
peel back the skin and see the
Skin.
electronics.
Yeah, and pull it out, and then lose it, and have to get lost
Yeah,
in the
the little dent
vacuum.
Oh, wait a minute. Kevin says something I didn't know. Before Lego, there was macaroni. Wait, that's not macaroni. It's Makona. Gary, I think you are correct about that. What the fuck are you crunching on?
Nothing.
It's really loud.
I will-
Everybody gets
See,
to
we
enjoy
had,
Elizabeth snacks.
Not Connects, because Connects came after.
Okay,
It was like the
Lincoln
metal
Logs.
one.
Lincoln
What?
Logs.
Well, no, I had Lincoln Logs too.
But
You're talking the Malconnects, yeah.
now
Yeah,
I want
but they weren't called Connects.
I want to
No.
go in the other room and show you guys. I want to bring this in. It's a box of stuff I gave to my son that somebody else gave to me. They're wooden blocks, but they're 2x4s cut into like the little arch, and you take one 2x4 and you cut it corner to corner, so you have two ramps, and it's like the original blocks. And Toei says Tinker Toys. Tinker Toys were good. Now I had this really cool building construction set, and you had these little blue girders, and you hook cross beams into them, and when you're done, you put these little plastic sheets hooked onto them that look like office building windows. And the fuck is this, Kevin? Is this like paper trains and shit?
You know it's metal.
That
That's
looks.
kind of like what I'm talking about. It must have been like the next generation after that.
That's very cool, Kevin. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, like mechanics or something, isn't it? Okay, wait a minute. Gary says that some Vietnam era G.I. Joes put one on a flamethrower suit on the barbecue to see if it worked. It did not. Oh, Evil Knievel jump cycles. I remember those.
Yeah, I remember that. God, I was poor.
Porn?
Poor if a neighbor had one. It's glorious.
Those were. Okay, what about yard games? Let's talk about yard games. Kennedy says I wasn't into it, but I knew guys that love Stratomatic, the baseball card game. I don't even know what that is. I was not into sports at all. Not a sports.
My brother had the talking football game with little records you'd put in the player.
Constructs. Chris.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Toei. You hit it. And by the way, for everybody that doesn't know, Toei is another streamer. Let's do another shout out for Toei. Check her out. Since we got some few people on here, go harass her, support her. Hold on, talking. Make sure I spell it right and get it out there correct. There we go. Ba-ching.
And then I had a lot of Matchbox cards.
Never much like the cars. They became transports for my Star Wars guys.
Oh, see, I had one the racetrack where it had a rubber C-clamp that you attached to a windowsill, and then it went down and had a loop-de-loop and a jump.
Right.
So that you put your car in on the windowsill and let it.
Oh, we were too poor for windowsills. We just had to hold it. What about yard games? Let's talk about yard games. Now, we can talk about a slip and slide real quick.
Everybody loves a slip and slide.
See,
I sprained my wrist on slip and slide because I hit it weird.
What about you, Elizabeth? Slip and slide girl?
I mean, in college, yeah.
See, we used to put the slip and slide in front of the slide from the jungle gym, so that you and would get a piece of wax paper out and wax down the slide, and then put the hose at the top of the slide. So you like started at a steep angle, hit the slip and slide, and then just went way down the yard and tried to dodge out of the way of the tree.
See, I remember when I was in Mississippi, and I was 18 at this point in time, and I was in the middle of nowhere. We actually got like a black roll of plastic, unrolled it down a hill, and then took the garden hose with the sprayer attachment and locked it so it's going down. And I have to read a couple comments here because people are definitely jumping in on the yard thing. Kevin, I'm not reading all that, but that is awesome. I know what you're talking about. Those are fucking cool kits. Toei says croquet, badminton. Gary says had a couple of slip and slides. Overdrive, good to see you, man. How's things going? Says lawn darts for the added element of danger of having a steel dart protruding from the top of your head like a unicorn. And Jules says roller skates, which I want to go to jarts real quick. The lawn darts, jarts. We never had an accident with them because we didn't fucking stand under where you're throwing them. It's kind of like horseshoes. When people throw horseshoes, you stand behind them, not in front of them. Just a thought. So when they remove these from the market, I'm like, this is just helping the rest of society by removing the morons that would stand where you're throwing steel-tipped darts.
Yes.
And we had a badminton set, but we never played
Badminton.
with the net. We just kind of whacked the shuttlecock
Yeah.
at each other.
Yeah.
Until you learned it was called a shuttlecock, then you just laughed about the game for hours.
I played that badminton for hours. I loved it.
You see,
And not having lawn darts never stopped my brother and I. We had darts, so we just
hard to
threw them at
find,
each other.
but we can still play.
Ah! Just as long as you don't throw it really hard, they stick you a little bit, you'll be all right.
Yeah, they fall right out. Gary says
Don't drop
wiffle
a
ball
line.
and badminton took up most of my time for practicing to get better. Good times.
Yeah.
Kevin says, Travis, you remember Kirk? He throws knives and axes. Is wise not to enter his garden unannounced. Kennedy says we had those track ball throwers that were kind of like plastic lacrosse sticks, but short. The highlight thing. That's actually a real sport. Highlight. Because they played in Miami because we had Cubans. So, yeah, we got to play it. Man, real highlight is a lot more vicious than the fucking plastic ones you use in your yard. I think I still have some of those in the house somewhere. Those are good.
We played a lot of Frisbee, and then when Tron came out, we would just go to town with the Frisbees at each other.
That's where Frisbee tag came into play in later generations. Where you just fucking whip a Frisbee at people to tag them.
Yep.
Yeah, I lost a lot of matches.
Hey, wrist rockets have come back up in the conversation again because Overdrive wasn't here earlier. Do you want to go on about slingshots and wrist rockets? Wrist rockets, which were like advanced slingshots.
After, the slingshot incident of 1995.
Good night, Kevin. Thank you. We appreciate you coming around, man.
Good night, Kevin.
Elizabeth has frozen in the wrist rocket position on the camera. Oh, you're back. Okay. What, Chris?
I said she looked fine to me.
Well,
Well, thank you.
yeah, baby. Wiffle ball was good. It's
Oh, yeah.
We always just beat each other with the wiffle ball bats. Because they were like lightsabers.
oh,
Well,
boy.
if you had a yellow one and like the green one or whatever.
So how long did we all keep our Christmas paper wrap tubes to beat each other with like lightsabers?
A few hours, maybe.
Until they tore the fuck up. You'd always store one or two away and save them for a few months and pull them out later. You're like February.
I remember when one of the Star Wars anniversaries in the 90s, and they had released the first like collapsible lightsaber. I remember getting 2 of those, and I had the Luke Skywalker green one, and from Return of the Jedi, and then Darth Vader's red one.
Here's a fun fact for you, Chris, that you might not realize. When Elizabeth and I were younger, they had these lightsabers, but they weren't collapsible. They were long, solid tubes, but they had 4 holes in the end, so they actually made a whoop whoop noise when you whipped them around.
Nice.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. It's and you can actually hit them against each other and not have them collapse.
All I know is my father had some kind of tubes for his golf clubs.
Oh yeah.
And I figured out if I could tape one to a flashlight. I had a good maybe 4 hours before my mother would notice something was missing in the house. Like there was a disturbance.
In the force. By the way, Overhead says, that sounds like a PBS special where someone's being interviewed. Oh, after the great wrist rocket incident in 95, times changed. We lost our collective innocence.
The wrist rocket incident.
Good night, John. Drive safe, man. We'll talk to you soon. And hopefully, John, have you been here all night? Is the stream maintaining itself well enough that we might actually be able to play D&D next Sunday? Who knows? Crazy fucking talk, isn't it?
And then I had a lot of Nerf guns when I got older.
I have a bunch now, and I'm considering just getting rid of them because they never come out. Kennedy, wait a minute.
I've been there how many times? You haven't brought guns out? What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Kennedy says plenty of Nerf.
The last time I seriously played with Nerf guns was before my parents left Charleston, and I was coming home to visit, and my little sister, the way our rooms were opposite at a long hallway, and she had her door open, and as I walked in, she just unloaded like 6 Nerf guns on me, and I had no time to retaliate. But in my room on my bed that I was staying at, she had left one like hand pistol and said, and it just with a note that said "Arm yourself."
Well,
so that was like what? When did they move? 2014, 2015, somewhere there.
I don't know. Would you guys, at your current age, have a water gun war?
Yes.
Yes. I have cats.
No,
Gotta go get some of those big, massive super soakers that we had.
Well, I have one of the ones that I bought that it's one of the ones they did a recall on and banned because of the pressure behind it. Is so much people were getting injuries from their, in their eyes.
Ooh, yeah, I had some of those too.
I still
the
have
water
one.
Rocket that you did the pump action with. And...
Yeah, and the more you pump, the higher the pressure.
Right.
Wow.
And that's one of the ones I will not be getting rid of because one day somebody will show up and go, "Want to have a water gun war?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got the one they banned. Hold on while I go get that and fucking run."
Someone had a Nerf gun bazooka.
Yep.
When I was studying animation, and they threw it at me. Here, see if you can do this, and I was ridiculously accurate with that. I loved it.
I mean, there's a whole section of YouTube about how you can modify your Nerf guns to get the maximum amount of distance and accuracy out of them.
Nice.
Oh, I love Nerf guns. You can shoot indoors. It's fantastic. It's
The
glorious
one that we
invention.
had growing up was one where you the front little handle flipped down and it extended out the barrel.
Yeah.
And apparently that's the most collectible Nerf gun on the market.
Which one?
Ooh.
Because I think I have.
don't.
A couple comments while you're looking at that. Kennedy says we also had those water-powered rockets that you'd pump up. Overdrive says had a lot of G.I. Joes growing up. I remember my mom calling them dolls and me angrily yelling back that they were in fact not dolls but action figures. And Toey says I have an air compressor and a pressure sprayer. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, I've got a pressure cleaner. Fuck your water gun.
Well,
The Tagback 1998 Nerf Expandablast.
Expandablast. That's what I like to call my penis. Can I link it so I can compare other similarities?
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm.
Expand and blast.
Expandablast. Now by
I keep
penis.
thinking of that thing from Stranger Things that would.
Season 3 will be out July 4th. Okay, I do not have that one. Okay. But I do have a lot of
There
Nerf
was it
guns.
all expanded out.
Okay.
Had the little sight on top and the little like shoulder bit that popped down.
See, I have some with that, like the fold-down handle and the shoulder thing, but not that looks like that.
Yeah, if you weren't careful when you expanded the front, your dart would like pop out of the front because it had so much pressure.
Well, isn't that where the dart's supposed to pop out of?
Yeah, but not when you
wow.
like unlock the handle. So if you like unlocked the handle and shot at the right moment, you got extra far on your dart.
Gotcha. I have.
And then I had a gun that shot light pulses. That was super.
I remember that one.
I still have it, I think, in the backseat of my car because I want to make it all steampunky. Because it's got the little coils that stick off the bag.
Now, the darts that fit the Nerf guns now, do they fit the older Nerf guns?
I don't know.
I would think so, but there are different Nerf darts. There's two in specific, not counting the little circles that you can shoot, which I kind of like the little discs that shoot. It's but in my day, when I was a kid, we didn't have Nerf guns. We had soft pellet guns. Nerf guns didn't exist. Nerf was strictly, oh, here's a Nerf football. And that was really all Nerf was. And then later they came out with like Nerf ball and bat, and you're like, oh, cool. So it's like wiffle ball and bat, but I can hit him in the fucking head with it. It hurts less. The bat or the ball, I don't know.
Oh, the Nerf gun with the balls is fun.
But that's what we had. Instead of Nerf guns, we actually had ping pong ball guns.
Yeah.
And they shot like 8 feet before wind resistance went, no, you're not going any further. But if you put them in a wrist rocket, you can get them 15, 20 feet.
Nerf guns are just shooting little foam arrows. That's truly what air missiles is. They're so expensive.
They are. That's why I don't buy a lot of them anymore. But also, we don't use them. I bought my kid a whole bunch, but my last house was larger than this house, and there was one time I had all these shipping boxes from the USPS, all the priority boxes, and I wasn't using them. So we actually took them, built all the little priority boxes, and then used them like bricks to build walls and little forts, and we had this giant Nerf gun war where you actually had like windows built into the bricks of. What I say wrong here?
I said it's so cool.
Oh, the boxes were free, and I felt bad about not using them. And I'm like, you know what? A good Nerf gun war is as good as using them to ship some shit.
You're doing a live action Fortnite.
That's right. Before Fortnite was ever. Happy Fun Ball. Overdrive.
Do not get rid of those guns.
Cardboard. They look like bricks, like just cardboard boxes folded up into each other.
I wanted those, but I couldn't afford them. So yeah, priority mailboxes work just as well.
Hey, if you ever want to get rid of those guns, I wouldn't mind a tour.
Yeah, I think what I'll do. Hold on a second. Everybody is frozen here. Can you guys reset your cameras for me? I apologize for that inconvenience. Let's try to fix that up for our viewers there. Okay, Chris is moving again. Elizabeth is moving again. So here's what maybe I'll do. Maybe, here's an idea. I'll throw a party sometime this summer. That will be a water and Nerf gun war. And we'll Chris, are you actually frozen, or because your face is this horrific thing going on over there? Oh, there you go. Okay, now you're moving, sort of.
Well, I froze my face and then just waggled my tongue back and forth.
Okay, yeah, it actually froze. But yeah, we could definitely do that, and I'll invite you guys over, and then maybe afterwards I'll keep the one gun I want from the water gun and the Nerf gun thing. And just give the rest. Everybody take some fucking water gun and Nerf gun home, and everybody wears their bathing suit. You got to stay on the porch till you dry, and we give everybody a towel because you're gonna sit on the fucking couch. Put a goddamn towel under you.
I think we should just do it naked. That way your neighbors will never bother you again.
Toei, so sorry to see you go. Toei says stream keeps jamming up for me, and I have work to do. Good night, all. I'll see you again soon. Toei, I don't think that's
we
you.
love you, Toei.
That's my connection, which is what I'm. What, Andrea? Are you out there? Andrea?
What was this gun called?
I heard her shouting.
Moon shoes.
What?
Moon shoes.
Oh, I never had those. Oh my god.
Moon shoes were great, especially when you tried to put a skip it on your ankle and tried to do a skip it in moon shoes. That was really hard.
Those were the 90s toys.
Did you read what Roughhead wrote?
Okay, I see what you did here. Okay, so Overdrive posted, it's happy, it's fun, it's Happy Fun Ball. Warning, Happy Fun Ball may accelerate to dangerous speeds. Discontinue use if any of the following conditions occur: profuse sweating, heart palpitations, vomiting, blurred vision. Happy Fun Ball may stick to certain types of skin. If Happy Fun Ball begins to smoke, seek shelter immediately. Happy Fun should be stored in a refrigerated container when not in use.
So I have come across an article that is 11 stupidly dangerous toys of the 90s our parents probably shouldn't have let us play with.
Awesome.
Do tell.
Go on.
Number one was moon shoes.
Now, does everybody, Elizabeth, you remember moon shoes?
No, you have to forgive my ignorance. I did not grow up in America, so
Well,
a
this
lot
was
of things
in
I
the
don't know.
90s, you would have been grown. But basically, imagine a pair of shoes you put on, but it had this 3, maybe 6-inch thing underneath it with like
6-inch.
springs in it, so you can kind
there it
of
is.
bounce.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. That looks like an ankle breaker.
Yes, they were really hard to walk in. You kind of had to hop everywhere because you couldn't really put one foot in front of the other because they were so large. Because, you're like 6.
On moon, yeah.
Number 2 is sky dancers and dragonflies.
Okay, you know what? What was so bad about them? You pulled a string, they flew into the air. What's the big deal?
the fire.
Getting hit in the face with one of those fucking hurts.
Well, that's because they're a moron. Don't put your face where it's gonna go. What the fuck?
Don't always fly where you think they're gonna go.
I know, that's part of the challenge. See, in my day, we didn't have helmets for our fucking bikes either, okay?
Then sock and boppers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sock and
Why
boppers
not?
were awesome. No more dangerous
They're
than a
still
pogo stick.
awesome.
Yeah, they are. I think sock and boppers need to still exist. Those are the big inflatable boxing gloves that you beat the shit out of each
Right.
other with, right? So
Yeah. And then they made a sword version.
Yeah. Yeah, these things
Yeah.
were awesome. These were not dangerous. This was much better than us beating the shit out of each other
Shit out-
with bare
right.
hands.
Pogo balls.
What?
Pogo balls. So
Oh.
it's a disc with half of a
Right.
round, like a round
It's-
ball, and you
it's
like
Saturn.
squeeze your.
Oh, yeah.
It's Saturn. And you stood on the rings of Saturn and
Yes.
bounced.
Yes. And you gotta skip it.
Oh, that's the one on the one ankle, right?
That's
Yup.
Hold on while we make this solid piece of plastic to trip you on purpose. We're
You
gonna,
should have had it just trim the grass
You
too.
know, gotta get your high schooler and beat all your friends.
yeah, you know where that
and
came
it
from.
counted, right? Did
Yeah.
it have a counter on it? Okay.
It did, but like you had to go slow enough that it maintained on the ground, because you
Yeah,
could
the
get
friction.
them going fast enough that they did lifted fully off the ground, and then you were just skipping, and it didn't count.
See, you know where those
Okay.
originally came from, right, Chris? Chain gangs. Where they would put the big metal ball in your leg. Yeah, this was a great game in the when I was in prison. Go on.
Splash off water rockets, where you
What?
you jumped on the little thing and it shot the rocket off. Apparently, those were dangerous.
Were they water powered?
Gigantic trampoline.
Were they water powered?
The rockets?
Yeah, the splash off.
Yes.
'Cause- okay. So you had to fill it with water, connect it to a hose, and jump on the thing to launch it.
Yeah.
Nice. Why is
the
that
slip and
dangerous?
slide.
See, slip and slides have been around for years. Back up a little. You're going too fast. We're still back two things with the splash off thing. You got to give us a chance
Splash
to
off
talk
water
about it.
rocket.
I mean, we got another 15 minutes to talk about stupid shit. So,
Well, on the water rocket, you could see it losing, its stability and tilting, and then you jump on it, and then
How is that
someone
dangerous?
throws face. Yeah.
They were recalled in 1997, apparently.
Youth is dangerous. Life is
it
dangerous.
should be. Otherwise,
Agreed.
all the stupid people breed when they grow up.
Well, apparently it was more of a manufacturing error than a shooting it at someone and getting hurt, because they would explode if you exceeded the recommended pressure, which was easy to do just from basic filling.
See, Overdrive says, we used to have neighborhood BB gun wars back in the day, no more than 5 punches if you had a rifle. We talked about that already, Overdrive, and I remember being offered that and going, no, you're a moron. Go have fun. And then, I grew up and I don't know what they did. Okay, what was after that? You said big giant trampolines?
Big giant trampolines. Like just a giant trampoline.
Now, those have been around since
Apparently
like the
we're-
40s or 50s. How are they suddenly more dangerous
Bone
now?
breakers.
Because apparently in the 90s they had an explosion in sales and kids jumped off of them and broke lots of bones.
You're okay, Overdrive. Just letting you know to rewatch the rest. Kennedy says super elastic plastic bubbles. I tell you what, I loved smelling those damn things.
Yeah.
You put your fucking straw in the tube, get this glob, you wind it up like a booger on the end, and then you blew up this.
And see how big you could get the bubble before it popped.
Yeah, well, no, then you twist it and you pull it off and you try to bat it to the next person, which never worked well.
So you're skipping ahead because that's 2 more down the list.
See, these were around
really
before the
know.
90s. Who the fuck wrote this list? Did they not realize history existed? Okay, what was...
Some poor schlep, some poor college kid, first job, just trying to get through the day. Had to write the article.
From Bustle.
What?
Um,
Well, what was after
so
trampolines?
Slip and Slide is in there.
Okay,
Slip and slide, of
slip and
course.
slides have been around for...
Between 1973 and 1991, the
There we
number of adults and teens.
Well, adults aren't limber enough to do the slip and slide.
No, they also weigh
That's fine.
4 times the amount of a child. Don't throw your fat ass down a slip and slide. Which, by the way,
Don't tell me what to do.
I did see one at Walmart that's like got whole inflatable sides and a pull at the end. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm too heavy for these things, but I think I'd be running down.
Yeah, and some of them now have the arches in them that drop the water down
Yeah.
as you go through.
So it keeps it wet all the way so you don't hit that dry spot and jerk
Right.
suddenly to the left and go out of the grass.
Then we have creepy crawlers,
Yeah.
Okay.
the easy bake oven for boys.
And they're wait, was it just because they gave an oven to boys that was dangerous? The fuck?
Apparently, the heat-triggered door didn't remain closed, and you could easily burn yourself on the handle.
Only once, and then you figure it out. Use a sock,
They were using a sock for something else, Elizabeth.
It's stuck.
It wasn't flexible anymore.
And then the last one is lawn darts.
Okay, you know what? Overdrive says nobody ever seemed to check for sticks or rocks before laying down the slip and slide. Okay, Overdrive is so fucking right. Because, like, the first 3 people going through, you'd be like, oh, yay, I had a great time. And then, like, you would go down and you're like, ah, rock!
I remember road rash. You remember when you would fall and skid, and then you had to dig out the panels?
Oh, yeah.
from your wound?
See, I also
And then
remember...
sometimes it was burnt bad, you couldn't get to the panels.
The road.
See, I also remember
I just
swings
went like,
over
oh.
asphalt. And you would still jump off the fucking swing to see how high you could go. And land on
Yeah.
asphalt. And yeah, you did
You
it.
either did it or you bit it.
Now, let me ask you, Chris, did they have bicycle helmets as a requirement when you were growing up?
Yes.
Okay, Elizabeth,
Oh.
this question is for you. Because we did not have bicycle helmets.
No,
Did you ever know anybody or know somebody who knew somebody or know somebody who heard of somebody who cracked their fucking head open falling off a bike?
No, and I like to add. In 5th and 6th grade, I was in Berlin, Germany, and I had to take a bicycle test because the Germans, it's very orderly. And even on the test for Germany, there was no bicycle helmet.
Yeah.
And people would ride into their 80s and they never had to wear a bicycle helmet.
So-
You had to have a license.
So Overdrive
But no.
says, my stupid ass got my neighbor to tow me down the street on my skateboard after seeing Back to the Future. Yeah, dumb. No, not dumb. Fun. Fun, Overdrive. Because that's what we did too. Let alone if you got one of those fucking things from school, which was like a square foot thing of wood with 4 wheels that go in all directions.
The dolly?
Yeah, kind of. And Kennedy says, my brother cracked his head. You've got to be more specific. Like he's a crackhead? Or he fell off his bicycle and actually split open his skull.
I saw people riding skateboards with helmets,
Right,
and that's the first time I saw helmets.
right.
And that was in England.
That actually made sense to me with skateboards. Because that's...
Because they were, this wide.
Well, they were fucking like going down handrails and shit. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Why don't you put me in one of those inflatable sumo suits and I'll try that shit? Because I want to bounce when I hit the ground. Because I'm going to fucking hit the ground. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Kennedy says we
Bikes,
were doing jumps off wood planks and unsturdy bricks. Because that's what we did. We all
Yeah.
built ramps out of cinder blocks, bricks, and planks of wood. We all did it.
Yep.
And then Overdrive, as you say, major road rash after eating shit on the skateboard. Elizabeth and I did that off bikes. We actually pulled asphalt pebbles out of our bloody flesh before limping home while crying and walking next to our bike. And you know what
I
they
think
did?
I lost
Yeah,
my.
I did that a lot with roller skates first.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, Chris, in our day, roller skates had metal wheels.
I think I lost my virginity to a bike, to a man before. That was not fun.
It's, but yeah,
It was
just,
very medieval. It was very.
yeah, doing the jumps and stuff, that's what we did. And yeah, when you got home, your parent would be like, oh, you scraped up your leg? Hold on. And they'd go get this thing called
Yeah.
Bactine, which is essentially somewhere between gasoline
Acid.
and raw alcohol, and spray it on your
Single
open
little
fucking
iodine
wound.
thrown in there just for fun.
Yeah. And then they send you back outside. They're like, don't get dirt in it.
Yeah, pretty
We'll
much.
do that because
Yeah.
that would make it better.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
And by the way,
Back
to clean it, they bring you out in the yard with the garden hose and spray it. And they'd start with that gentle ice cold, with super hot water, which then turned ice cold. And then they'd put their
Right.
thumb over that fucker to make it clean out the wound.
It's because they were getting you back for all the shit you could have done.
It could be. Overdrive says, I never lived home crying. Fuck you. That never happened. And he says, only kidding. Absolutely.
To to this day, when a kid falls, I would say, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off.
Now, here's
You'll
something
be
else.
alright.
Our bicycle pedals were metal. And they had teeth. They had fucking teeth that would grip your shoe. So if you slipped on your bike and ran your shin down your bicycle pedal, it would literally bite a chunk. My brother had this happen. Bone fucking showed. And he never went to the hospital for it. They brought him in, tucked the fucking flap of flesh back into the hole, and then they got out the new skin. If you remember new skin.
Scotch tape.
Yes. And then they fucking put a gauze bandage and some medical tape because we were fancy. Yeah. Oh, see, Jill says my great-grandma would pour turpentine over anyone. Because apparently your grandmother was a Nazi and she brought home shit from training camp. So, you have a cut. Come closer, Liebchen.
We must seal the wound.
You're going to feel a little pressure. And she smoked her cigarette backwards.
It's true. At the weekend at the house, we had a first aid kit. It was enormous, and I thought, well, all right, they got kids. And I realized it was the animal first aid kit.
You mean like a hunting cleaning kit? What the fuck are you talking about?
For the pets. For the pets.
The fuck? Are there pets on bicycles and pogo sticks and swings? And metal roller skates?
I don't know what went on at that house, but I want to go back with a video camera.
Chris, we only have a couple minutes left. Was there anything else on this list you wanted to touch?
No, that we hit all of them.
Okay, we got 5 minutes before we wrap this up, guys. I'm going to do a closing toast, don't we forget. Right after I read, Overdrive says, never understood why girl bicycles had the top bar of the frame lower than boys' bikes. Busted the coin purse a few times on that thing. Genius engineers. Yeah, I think all bikes should have had that lower dipping thing.
Agreed.
All bikes. By the way, my first bike, banana seat, the monkey hanger handlebars, a flag on the back, and it was rainbow fucking colored, bitches.
Of course it was.
Yeah. And why did my mother think I was gay till I was 20? I don't know. I don't know. My brother had an all-red bike with a banana seat and no flag. I had the rainbow one.
Remember the banana seat that looked like leather, like a cowboy saddle?
I had one of those. And my chain guard had a scene with cowboys, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, my first bike was Ninja Turtles.
That's pretty cool.
And it was also one of those, because most of the little kid bikes, when you pedaled backwards, it hit the brakes.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first time I got to a big kid bike, it had
And Chris is frozen.
nothing happened, and I freaked out, and then realized I had to grab the handles, and grabbed only the front ones and not the back ones, and went ass over tea kettle right into, like, I think my friend's mailbox. It was not fun.
Did we lose Travis?
Okay. Kennedy has pointed out, which this was the end of my era, by the way, or the very beginning of my era. They had almost stopped doing it. Putting cards in bike spokes with clothespins to make noise. Yeah. Which was very cool.
We had the little plasticky bits that you would snap onto the spokes that essentially did the same thing and would slide.
You know, I'm such a bike lover from a kid. I spent money as soon as I moved back from New York, and I got an LED light that screws into the valve stem. And when you ride, it lights up and it makes big circles and
nice.
No noise, but it's pretty.
Which actually, I think that's a great idea for everybody to have. Everybody, day or night, just for visibility. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, which
and you look like a badass.
I might make fun of bike helmets, but I'm all for wear that bright fucking vest while you're biking. If you're gonna
let people see you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, make it easy. It's hard to drive and see bikes.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. Okay.
Share the road.
Hey, here's to the games of our childhood and how they made us stronger and smarter, unlike the morons of today.
Scarred.
That's right. We got scars to talk about, bitches. Oh,
I don't need tattoos. I got scars.
Oh, Overdrive said I have a very similar bike. It was blue. All the other kids in the neighborhood had cool BMX bikes. Yeah, I didn't have that till I got one later. Having 6 kids, my parents didn't have a whole lot of money, so my dad built that one thinking you can throw all the lightning bolt stickers you want on this thing. It's still a piece of shit, Pops. I thought that, never said anything other than thank you, because that's how we were raised, because you knew if you said something other than thank you. Ow! I'm sorry, Dad!
You got smacked and then it got taken away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then you didn't have a fucking fight.
Landed in the first place.
Yep.
Kennedy says people who walk dogs on the street should always use reflective gear and clothes. Or maybe they shouldn't walk their fucking dog on the street. Maybe they should be in the grass because the dog's like, fucking asphalt. I'm not wearing shoes, shithead, and I gotta poop.
And you know what, too? When we got a gift that we perhaps wasn't what we wanted or it was a piece of shit, learning how to make do with what you have is a very valuable
It really is. All of your
tool in
life.
life.
All of your
How
life.
many times in life have you really gotten what you wanted? You know,
Not yet.
just- Well, I'll give you another 100 bits.
It's now I actually took the bit goal down because it's not actually responding to bits being thrown at it, so I took it away because it still says 0.
Oh,
And I
you
had
don't
like
have a
70
sound
bits.
effect anymore.
Did you
I
say?
threw bits and it was just like, meh.
Did the thing not pop? Oh, that's because I took it down because it was pulling so many resources for that one little fucking explosion.
Wow.
Streamlabs.
Well, you can at least improvise for me to say something like, we.
See, it should. Well, I said thank you. Not enough. But we should. On that note, we
Thank
should
you.
go. But thank you guys for joining us. You guys have a great night. Here's some outro music. We will talk over.
Thanks for joining us.
There we go.
You are the one thing that makes the show what it is.
Kennedy, I'll give you
Don't
something
forget
to
to
cry
join us at the
about.
tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be
It won't
good.
cost me any bits.
Now,
The
raise
lame
your
ass
glass
trolls
of good
left in the middle of the
cheer.
show.
Enjoy the
Thank you,
small
everybody else, for
moments
joining
of
us. Come hang out with us
sweet
again.
dreams every minute.
Trolls don't need to be lame-assed.
No, not good trolls. These young kids nowadays, they just don't know how to troll anymore.
They can be bubble butt boys.
Back in my day, we knew how to troll. Thanks to everybody else
Isn't
who's
that
replied.
called
That's a
voyeurism?
Treasure trolls, and then your regular trolls.